Hey guys, welcome back to our 12 days of Christmas / New Year's mini little bite-sized series. If you're new, I'm reading prompts off my phone for 12 days. And we're just going to see what flows and what comes out. And then hopefully you guys get something from it. The moment I realized my confidence issue was actually a trust issue was when I started doing the reps and my confidence started to grow. And then I realized the more reps I put in, no matter how unconfident I was to start with, the more confidence came to me and the more I had the ability and the drive to do more. And I think that's a big thing that people misunderstand is that confidence comes from taking the action. Confidence doesn't come, you just don't wake up one day and you just naturally got it. It just doesn't come from nowhere. So I think you start to realize when you are putting in the reps that it's actually a trust issue with yourself and you not keeping promises with yourself versus an actual issue with your confidence. It's hard to be confident when you can't even trust yourself or your word doesn't actually mean much to you because you don't tend to stick to it. Confidence actually comes from knowing you'll do what you say you're going to do. So I want you guys to reflect on any patterns that you feel like come up regularly around this, around telling yourself you're going to do something and then not following through with it, and then how you feel like that's ruining your self-confidence. So if you can, let's grab out our phone on the notes app or a journal and let's journal together, because when you put something on paper, like I've said through this series, you actually get to call out the patterns easier and you actually get to reflect on things, and it gives you more clarity and perspective over a situation. And you realize what you're using as an excuse, what's actually affecting you and what's actually making a difference. So let's get it written out to help you clarify this. So I want you to call out any patterns that are actually happening. Are you what's something that you tend to tell yourself that you maybe don't necessarily follow through with? So are you someone that says you'll start Monday or you'll start in January, saying you'll book classes and never do? Do you say that you'll eat better, rest more, move better, but then you keep breaking those promises with yourself? Do you tell yourself you're going to wake up early? Do you tell yourself that you're not going to scroll at nighttime and go to bed earlier? Do you say that you're not going to pick up your phone early in the morning? I'll give you a second now. What are the things that you tell yourself regularly that you tend to always break, knowing that every single promise that is broken chips away at your trust? All right, pause this video as you need to give you a little bit more time. Just know that eventually you will stop believing yourself. And I want you to reflect now to see if what you're saying on the piece of paper and whether you're following through with it or you're not. If you're not I want you to reflect on what you've got on the piece of paper that you're not following through with, and notice that I want you to take notice of whether you're actually unconfident or you just don't trust yourself anymore. So can you write on a piece of paper whether you feel like it's a lack of confidence or a lack of trust in yourself? It's really important to remove all the shame here. It isn't about lazy. It's not about you not wanting something bad enough or you being broken. This happens in many seasons, especially during the busy emotional seasons and the tired seasons, and especially during December and the festive seasons as well. Most women don't lose confidence, they lose trust in themselves. All right, now reflecting on those promises and whether you feel like it's broken trust with yourself or confidence, I want you to reflect on how many of those promises you made to yourself were too big to be achievable / or you knew you weren't going to do. Maybe put a cross or a star next to the ones that when you made those or when you tend to make those, you know you're not going to follow through with it. And maybe ask yourself why you feel like you have to make those promises. On your health and wellness journey, you feel like you have to wake up early and you have to train in the morning and do all these things. But really, that just creates a lot of resistance for you and it doesn't suit your life and your routine. And maybe you're making these big promises that you feel like you have to make but aren't following through with. So I'll give you a second there. All right, hopefully you've numbered those first few promises that you regularly break with yourself, and then underneath I want you to number again, and I want you to replace those big promises by starting with something small, boring and repeatable. So how can you change those goals or promises to something that you know you're actually going to do? So maybe you've got like, I'll start Monday, but Mondays are like a really busy day of the week for you and you know that it's not achievable for you to actually train on a Monday. So maybe it's I'm going to get one Pilates class in this week. And then you book it in your calendar, in your diary, and it's non-negotiable. It's an appointment. Everybody knows it's non-negotiable in your family, and they know the reasons of why you're going, and you've been vulnerable with them to tell them that you doing this is going to benefit everyone in the long run. Remember, these promises you want to be able to keep even on a bad week. If you can keep these promises on a bad week, you can definitely keep these promises on a good week. And it's not necessarily like if it is a good week, then you can do more. But if it's a bad week, you have to be able to achieve these. Otherwise, you're ruining your self-worth and your self-confidence and breaking the trust with yourself by not keeping your word and valuing your own voice. Self-trust is rebuilt in consistently keeping the small promises to yourself. And then if there's any promises on there that you feel like you can't keep at all and you feel like you necessarily can't replace with a small one, let's cross them off. And you're not going to promise yourself that you're going to be able to do that anymore. All right. I want to give you guys some concrete examples so you know how to sort of structure this. Here's some examples of some promises you might swap out. So instead of like saying you're going to train every single day, maybe it's 2 sessions every week at the exactly same time. And you know in those sessions that you're going to work your absolute hardest on that day. You're going to give 100% on that day. So that's not you're going to go and smash it and do the hardest weights and springs every single time, because like we have said, life goes through seasons and we go through cycles as women and everything. So one week compared to another week might look different, but you're 100% on that day. So it might not be your max 100%, but it might be 80%, and that is your 100% on that day. It might be going for a walk even when you're tired, because you know it's like a great way to wind down at the end of the day before bed, and you know it's going to set you up for a good night's sleep. Maybe it's coming to class when you're tired and choosing lighter option springs rather than just cancelling, and choosing the lighter layers and just doing the best you can on that day. And yeah, maybe it's showing up at just 60%. Showing up imperfectly builds more confidence than waiting to feel ready. And here's a behavior shift. So you want to spell out the new behavior clearly. No matter how I feel, what were the promises that I made to myself that I was going to get done this week or today? What did I promise to myself? And then from there, it's follow the plan and not your mood. You follow your mood, you'll be up, down, everywhere. That is forever changing. I know sometimes for me, my life can be a bit of a roller coaster. My mood can change multiple times within one day. So how do you feel like you can rely on your mood when it's a forever changing thing? You have no control over it. And some days, like, I don't know, sometimes you just wake up in a funk and you don't even know why. So it's not something you can necessarily like even control. So you got to follow the plan, not your mood, and you always will feel better afterwards. Feelings are unreliable. Systems aren't. Systems are reliable. Feelings are unreliable. The moment I realized my confidence issue was a trust issue was when I stopped trying to feel confident and I started keeping the word to myself and doing the small reps every day. This reflection that you guys just did, I want you to do that every day for the next 7 days. So you can really, really call yourself out on your own behavior, because it's the only thing that's going to move you forward. Get uncomfortable with it. Be honest with yourself. What words are you saying that you're not keeping and you are, and it's breaking your trust with yourself? Sit with it. Let it land and tell yourself how you're going to change the behavior moving forward, because you have to fully respect your own word, or how can you expect anyone else to? I think it's funny as humans, we go around and talk about people disrespecting us or not trusting us or not taking our words seriously, but then we don't even do it to ourselves. So we are the most important person to ourselves, and we need to care for ourselves, because no one else is coming to save you. Unfortunately, you got to want it for yourself. Get uncomfortable. Let it land, let the emotions pass through, and then make a change moving forward. I want to see your list. Make sure you send them through to me so I know you've done it, and tell me how you're going to make a difference moving forward. And just know everything you want is on the other side of keeping your word to yourself. I hope you guys got a lot from that. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you tomorrow. See you. Love you. Bye.